EA just released their top 25 team overall ratings. Those are the teams that your cheeser friend is going to use to make you pull your hair out. But what about those other teams that are flying under the radar that are still going to be a lot of fun to use? The ones that aren't terrible, but they're good enough to still have a lot of fun with, and when you pull up with them, people are going to think they have an easy game. Psych, you're going to be able to hold their feet to the fire. Whether that's online, playing against your friends, or even a dynasty that isn't going to make your life harder than it needs to be. These are the teams I'm going to talk about in this video. All of them are outside of EA's top 25, and for the group of 5, I chose the non-obvious favorites in their respective conferences. Without further ado, let's get into it. Minnesota. The main reason Minnesota will be so much fun to use is Darius Taylor. He's one of the most underrated running backs in the country and should be a decently high overall in the game. Better learn the name now if you don't yet. Combine him with A.J. Turner, the transfer from Marshall, who put up some big numbers, and you have a really fun 1-2 punch. Defense is going to be really solid across the board. Coy Parrish in the secondary is going to be a heck of a user for those that like to use the safeties. Drake Lindsey's a young quarterback that doesn't have a ton of experience, but he does have a big frame, which is going to matter in this game, and a powerful arm. Javon Tracy transfers in from Miami of Ohio after putting up 818 yards and 7 touchdowns. Logan Loya is a solid slot receiver as well to help you round out that receiving core. This is a great running team that is going to be underrated defensively and give your opponent a lot of trouble. Washington. Damon Williams at QB is a freaky athlete. He's going to give your opponent headaches trying to defend. He will be one of the best dual threat options in the game, bar none. Running the option with Jonah Coleman is going to be a blast. Opposing players are going to have to pick their poison, essentially, when it comes to defending one of those two guys, and neither one of them is going to be right. Denzel Boston is one of the most underrated wide receivers in the game right now. He's a great athlete, smooth route runner, great hands, will always be open. He's a guy that you're going to be throwing the ball to a lot. Tacario Davis follows Jed Fish after 1 year at Arizona without him. This should drastically help out the secondary to lock down those players that are trying to cheese you with some of those better wide receivers. It's going to be a super fun team that'll allow you to be dynamic on offense. UCLA. Is Nico a great real-life quarterback? Maybe not, but he's going to be a great QB in this game, and I've got a good feeling about that. He's tall, has a big arm, and can run. Accuracy really isn't going to matter here. Javian Thomas was one of the sneaky transfer portal pickups this past cycle. He comes over from Cal after backing up Jaden Ott last season. And if you remember when Ott was out, Thomas had a few huge games. This guy's going to be a really fun player in the backfield. Jalen Berger is a former 4-star running back that's also a good backup option. He's going to give you a nice blend of speed and power to give you that dynamic 1-2 punch. The wide receiver room is unproven, but should be good enough to take advantage of having Nico at quarterback. Pitt. Underrated offense in both the run and the pass. Eli Holstein is a QB with all the tools, which is all that matters in this game. He'll have a good throw power and accuracies to make your life a lot easier, spreading the ball to their trio of wide receivers. Kenny Johnson, Raphael Williams, and Sincere Lee are all productive wide receivers that are looking to break out even more. Expect them to be in the low 80s, high 70s, and have that solid attribute overall. Desmond Reed is going to be a household name by week 4 of the college football season. He's an elite receiving back that will also be a really good runner. You want speed? This guy's got it. Watch out for this Pitt offense if you get matched up with them because they will make your life hell. The defense is a top 25 defense in the game. Narduzzi has a bunch of dudes that will fly around and make plays. I'm telling you, man, this Pitt team is really sneaky. Georgia Tech. This is essentially the same offense they had last year, but replace Eric Singleton with the very good Eric Rivers from FIU. Malik Rutherford pairs with him to make a scary duo of wide receivers that will take the top off your defense and make you miss in space. Haynes King has figured it out and is one of the best running quarterbacks in the country while also being a good enough thrower. Him and Jamal Haynes will be one of the best option duos in the entire game, making it nearly impossible for your opponent to stop you. Haynes is a freak and should be getting way more love as a runner. You bring back mostly everyone on their defense, so they're going to be ready to go, and they're going to be tough to beat. Syracuse. Steve Angeli at QB is going to make them a fun team to use. He's much more of a runner than a passer, which gives you a lot of opportunity to create plays out of structure. Jonte Cook is another transfer they brought in, and while he hasn't had a huge start to his career, he's very talented and is fast and shifty. You pair him with Darrell Gill Jr., and all of a sudden, you've got a solid receiving attack that will keep your opponent honest while you work that QB run game with Angeli. West Virginia. WVU might not be on the same level as some of these other schools we talk about, specifically at the quarterback position, but Jaheim White alone felt like they deserved at least a mention on this list. He is unbelievably explosive. He's a big play waiting to happen. Adding him into a rich rod offense feels almost unfair, but you can be the one to take advantage of it. Cam Vaughn is also transferring from Jacksonville State. He was their leading receiver last year. He's a huge addition to the passing game that is still looking for their QB. It'll likely be Nick Marchiol, though. Baylor. All you need from this team is Sawyer Robertson. He's my Heisman dark horse for a reason. Dude has a cannon and will have all the accuracy you need. He's a good enough runner to keep the defense honest as well. Josh Cameron and Ashton Hawkins both return, and they also add in Kobe Prentice of all people. Prentice will have all the physical traits you need, even if he hasn't been able to put it all together in real life. As if this wasn't enough, Bryson Washington returns following a 1,000-yard double-digit touchdown season. Can't forget about backup Dawson Pendergrass, who nearly had 700 yards himself on the ground. So you get the 1-2 punch on the ground and the aerial weapons to keep your opponent on their heels and the points rolling. TCU. Can I interest you in Josh Hoover, a big arm QB that doesn't really have any accuracy but can absolutely sling it? Sounds enticing, doesn't it? Threw for nearly 4,000 yards and 27 touchdowns last season. Not much of a runner, so if your play style is pocket passer, this is your guy. Alec McAllister is returning after a 750-yard season and is your big body throw it up and get it type. They also bring in FCS All-American Jordan Dwyer from Idaho, who went for nearly 1,200 yards and 12 scores. If you want to throw the ball around the yard, this is the team that you should go with. Kansas. Jalen Daniels is your QB. What more needs to be said? He's got the arm and the wheels, even if his stats don't show it, to be one of the most dynamic QBs in the game, making him a pain in the ass to defend. 3 transfer wide receivers, 2 of which had solid production at their last school, give you some options in the passing game. It's an interesting running back room that could prove to be solid in that read option game if you get going. I mean, if we're really being honest here, though, you're just using Kansas so that you can use Jalen Daniels. And that's okay. I think everybody would make that decision. Utah. Devin Dampier is probably the best running quarterback in all of college football, and the casuals don't know who he is. He was the reason New Mexico was respectable on offense last year. Nearly 1,200 yards rushing and 19 touchdowns. As a passer, he's good enough. Doesn't have a crazy arm and isn't super accurate, but who cares when you can just run around your opponent? Wayshawn Parker transferred in from Wazoo and brings a very fun and dynamic running style to pair with Dampier when running that option game. Ryan Davis follows Dampier from New Mexico, giving him his top receiving threat back. They also brought in Otto Tia from Utah State, who is a solid player in his own right. It's a Kyle Whittingham defense as well. You know it's going to be littered with 80 overalls that will be just enough to keep your opponent in check. Navy. Blake Horvath is your QB, and that is amazing. He is a consistent 200-100 guy waiting to happen. Imagine you pull up to the game as Navy and your opponent's like, what is this? They've got an easy win. And then you pull out a disgusting 250 in the air and 125 on the ground. That could be reality. Nothing is stopping you. Alec Texa is a bowling ball at fullback. He will make you very tough to stop in those short yardage situations. Eli Heidenreich is going to provide you with the speed and agility to keep that defense on their toes. He is also a fantastic threat and probably your best threat in the receiving game. The Horvath to Heidenreich combo is going to get you a lot of points. USF. If Byron Brown can stay healthy, he is one of the best QBs in the group of 5. Fortunately for you, this is a video game, and that doesn't matter. He is such a good dual threat QB, your opponent won't know what hit them. He's got a great arm and good feet. He's really just a great option at QB. Wide receiver room is relatively unproven, so it'll be interesting to see how people deploy it. The main 2 transfers they brought in are from the P4 level, so we'll see if that affects how they play. It's the same thing with the running backs. They might be some help, but don't count on them being great players. This is the Byron Brown Show, and you should get used to it because your opponent's going to have to. Miami, Ohio. DeQuan Finn is back in the MAC. He was the QB of Toledo when they won the MAC championship, but he is one of the most dynamic QBs at the group of 5 level. He will have some of the best speed at the quarterback position on day 1 release. Other than that, they bring in some transfers at the wide receiver position from big schools, but not much production from them. Running back is going to be by committee, but really all you need is to have Finn to have enough in that running game and to be the MAC representative for those underrated team. Western Kentucky. They're replacing a lot of players with fun FCS talent. Bringing in Maverick McIvor, arguably a top 5 FCS QB last season. Adding him to this offense is a pairing sent from the heavens. They also bring in Matthew Henry, who had the 5th most receiving yards in FCS last season. Super shifty guy that will give you run after the catch ability. They also brought in 2 other transfer receivers that should be able to give you some diversity and options in your receiving core. I'm not going to talk about the running backs because why are you picking Western Kentucky if you're trying to run the ball? You are going to throw the ball a lot with these guys. Old Dominion. Colton Joseph is likely the least known QB on this list, but has the best chance at being the breakout star. He has the arm and the legs to give you an advantage over your opponent. He started to turn it on down the stretch last year, which is going to help his overall this season. Devin Roche is a very good option at the running back position. Even though his stats don't reflect that, you'll notice how much of an impact he makes when you're gashing your opponent. They added Trey Brown and Ja'Cory Thomas, who were both solid wide receivers at Hutchinson Community College. Man, I know it doesn't seem like a lot, but I wouldn't sleep on them being day 1 impacts for you. I would not be surprised if this team gave people some fits. James Madison. Most of the JMU team left during the offseason, but George Pettaway is still around, and that's enough to get the Dukes on this list. He's a fun, dynamic runner that will carry you when you're using this team. They also bring in transfer Matthew Sluka from UNLV. If you remember, Sluka left the team after 4 games to maintain his red shirt. Well, he finds his way back to head coach Bob Chesney, and using his legs will be the best way for you to succeed. Now, if you want to throw it around a little bit, Camden Coleman, the Richmond transfer, gives you that option. He's also very capable on the ground. With Coleman, the Dukes bring in their top 2 receivers, Landon Ellis and Nick DeGennaro, who both went for over 500 yards and 4 touchdowns last season at Richmond. They also added Villanova's top wide receiver, Jalen Sanchez, who had a similar stat line to the other 2. Telling you right now, do not sleep on the Dukes, even though they lost a lot. San Jose State. Walker Eget really found his stride late last season. He's a big body that has an arm. He just doesn't have the accuracy down quite yet. He, like Hoover, is that pocket passer you're looking for if that's more your speed. Floyd Chalk is a good option at running back, so you don't rely too heavily on the pass. He's got that bowling ball type physique while also maintaining good acceleration to get you going downhill quickly. Their wide receivers are going to be a conglomeration of FCS players and guys transferring down from bigger schools. There should be enough talent there to work with Eget to really make this offense dynamic and scary. Drop your fun, underrated team in the comment section below. I'm really interested to see what you guys come up with that I maybe overlooked or that I didn't give enough credit to. So drop those below. That is all I have for you today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button on your way out. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Catch you on the flip. See ya.